we talk about the cost of doing business. Well, Sean Couturier is doing some business. He's got a new agent. Frank Saravalli reports last night, Coots no longer represented by Eric Lupin, now being represented by super agent Pat Brisson. On the very, guys change agents. Like, that shit happens. But there's the entire backstory here. First of all, he ain't negotiating a contract anytime soon. Yeah. This is the NHL. Yeah. They're guaranteed contracts.
He's under contract for another 6 years.
He's under contract till the end of time, basically.
And that's how agents make their money, is off commission. I mean, there's probably other fees as well. But the big way they make money is off commission from, negotiating a contract. Brisson is not going to be negotiating a contract anytime soon unless the Flyers buy out Couturier and have him on their books for 12 years like the Briz deal.
He's, at this point, and I don't mean to sully the good goddamn name of Sean Couturier, but it's not as if there's a whole bunch of endorsements coming his way or anything. Yeah. He's not the most charismatic dude. He also is on the fourth team in town, and he's not having the best year. He didn't have the best year. I don't see what someone gets out of taking him on as a client at this point. But there is the whole backstory of his previous agent kind of talking shit on the Tortorella situation.
This is what I kind of makes me feel good about this, is that whole thing that all of us, I think, kind of were like, oh, fuck. As soon as those comments came out where it was the communication's not good, Couturier's not happy, all of those comments, which apparently came from his agent, had all of us, I think, being like, oh, no. If he doesn't get along with Tortorella, how is this even going to happen? How is this going to work? And this makes me think, okay, maybe Couturier was like, why the fuck did you say that? That's not accurate. Everything's fine. You're fired.
The Tortorella rebuttal to the whole thing, where he was like, I don't even know if that guy's his agent or this kind of somewhat makes me feel better.
Yes.
We were like, how can this possibly coexist?
Right.
If year one basically together, because he wasn't, on the team while he was out with the injury. I mean, he was around, but he wasn't being coached by Torts. Year one, the captain and the coach don't get along. How is this thing going to play out? Kind of makes me think maybe there's a little better relationship than we thought. There's at least some communication, because Torts goes, I don't even know if that's his agent. And when he said that, I said, Charlie, is he? And you said, yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And now he's not.
Now he's not.
Now he's not. I don't feel worse about the Torts-Coots relationship now, I'll tell you that.
No, I feel all we can do is speculate, obviously. And I feel
this could mean a million things.
The only speculation you can make is that it's good with regard to, shit.
No, well, I mean there's two ways you could take it. And there were two ways that it was taken last night. The first way was, okay, Coots' agent may have spoken out of turn. And Couturier, after having a week or so to digest the season, decided that he wanted to get an agent who is less likely to do something to make Sean Couturier the story.
Okay.
That's option one. Option two, which was the other thing that people were speculating on Twitter, was, okay, why would Pat Brisson take on Sean Couturier as a client unless Sean Couturier is about to demand a trade?
Okay.
And Brisson is well-versed in navigating that type of awkward situation. I don't know. But I mean, I understand. Let me put it this way. My guess is that Sean Couturier is not about to request a trade. Number one, because he has roots here. Number two, he's got a real good relationship with Danny dating back to the time when he was a teenager. Number three, even if he demanded a trade, I don't think anyone would want him anyway, and I think he knows that. But I can't rule out the possibility that Couturier is so ticked off about the way he was treated that he wants an agent that would be willing to explore whether there is a market for him. I can't rule that out entirely.
Tell me how we can make this happen.
I was going to say, can I say something without everyone getting mad? Both of those are good. In different ways. Different ways. They're both kind of good.
My best case scenario for Sean Couturier, and I said this prior to the season, and goddamn, if the second half of the season didn't lead me to believe this would be a real good, he's an overpaid Jordan Staal. He's a middle six center who can still play some good defense for you. He scores enough, but he ain't your 1C.
Right.
That's just not going to happen at this point.
Seemed unlikely. First half of the year, he kind of was. He was in that borderline. He was a top six center, I would say. And then
he was-
second half of the year was real bad.
He was fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in that role on a good team, no, you're not a good team.
No, that was like real good second line center.
Yeah,
Sean
I would agree with that.
If they can figure a way, just not even, damn it, even if he's closer to what he was in the first half, just because of the timeline of this thing, if they can figure a way out of this contract that isn't, we're covering 50% of it for the
Right.
next 6 years, or we have to move a bunch of other assets to move him.
Yeah.
If they can figure out some way out of this thing, that's good. If Tortorella and Couturier have some sort of reconciliation and Coots gets back to close to what he was in the first half,
That's good.
also good. This is leading me to like think there's 3 outcomes and 2 of them are good rather than there's 3 and 2 are bad.
I think
I'll
that's
take those odds
extremely
over what
fair.
I thought a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. You got a super chat, boys.
We have a super chat. I see there's a little glare.
yeah, I didn't
there we
really
go.
understand. I saw this.
Jake Coots agent quit on tour.
I don't really understand that, Jackson. I'm sorry.
Jackson Lehman.
Yeah, like I do you?
In a
do you-
way,
It's just
I
a good
think we've
joke.
Oh, is it
all
just a
quit
joke?
on
Like, because we were
Torts.
talking about the team quitting on Torts,
oh.
and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." He's
Gotcha.
the only
I
one
get
who
it.
can actually quit.
yeah, he
Yeah,
actually
maybe his
just
If
agent
that's a
actually
joke, it's a
quit.
good one, I think.
fair.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
I didn't
We got
understand
there.
what that was
But-
getting at, but if it's a joke, then yeah.
I would
okay,
also
got it.
say, like, if Tortorella says to the media in front of everyone, "Oh, that fucking idiot. Who knows? Who even knows if he's an agent? I don't know. He's some asshole." And Sean Couturier, his client, isn't like, "Hey, wait a minute." The dude might have been like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I did this for you."
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
You know, so there is a possibility. Like, didn't quit on Torts? That's funny, but like, I could see him kind of being, "Yo, man, you got scratched. You were pissed.
Yeah.
I represented your interests as you pay me to do, and nothing on my end. Nothing coming back."
I wouldn't be shocked if there is, and again, this is all speculation. It wouldn't shock me if it's a little bit of both in terms of the idea of not being thrilled with what how his agent dealt with the last situation, and also wanting to have a super agent on his side in case this escalates further. Like, he could look at it and say, "Hey, I don't think Eric Lupien did the best job of de-escalating a situation where I was already on edge, and maybe in retrospect, like, that was not the best thing for my agent to, like, my agent should have protected me from myself because I was ticked off." And then he went on The Athletic and basically said, like, yeah, him and the coach haven't spoken in weeks, like, had a productive conversation in weeks. And in retrospect, yeah, maybe he shouldn't have done that. He should have told me, yeah, maybe this is the time for me to shut the hell up. That could be part of it. Also, Couturier could be looking at this and saying, right now I want to keep trying to make this work, but if 6 months down the road I can't stand the coach still, I would like to have Pat Brisson on my side in case this needs to be figured out in other ways. I could see that.
There are, like, other than trade or buy, like, it would be a termination, like a mutual termination.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can negotiate those.
There would never be a mutual termination.
No.
There's no way Sean Couturier would give up that much money.
It would be shocking. But if he could get some sort of big upfront check and then kind of get to go do whatever the hell he wants.
I don't even think that's allowed under the CBA.
There's certain things that they allow,
I mean,
but like these are real hard things to.
The closest
It usually doesn't happen.
The closest thing I could think of where something like that happened was the Mike Richards in LA situation, but that required like LA to try to sever the contract because he got arrested for drugs. Like, that would not. As much as I know about Sean Couturier, I do not think that he would ever have something like that happen to
Say
him.
it, Kelly.
Does Dean Lombardi still work here?
Yeah, he
Thank
does.
you. There you go.
Never mind.
You were like you were the meme of the dude waiting to say that. Like, I thought you might pop if you didn't get that joke
Sorry.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say.
Well,
anything
there's a
about
reason
Dean
he's still on
Lombardi.
the payroll, folks. No, it would be shocking if they could come up. Like, he just played the whole season, There's no real he's coming back from back surgery, but he's not injured, so it's not like an injury termination or anything,
And
or
you can't,
settlement.
you can't do that anyway. Like if Sean Couturier decides that his back is acting up again and he can't play, there's no termination that happens there. He just spends the next 6 seasons on long-term injury reserve and gets his money. Like there's only so much that can be done under the CBA. The CBA does a really good job of protecting guys in terms of getting paid. There's basically one way out. There's two ways out of a contract. One way is you buy them out, and they don't get all their money, but they get a lot of it. The other way is mutual termination, where both sides agree to tear up the contract, but why would Sean Couturier willingly give up like $55 million? That would be insane.
It's not as if there's a year or two left. Like, this is the most of the contract of his big payday.
Sean Couturier,
this was it. This is why he put in all the work. This contract is the one that makes him a millionaire.
Like Sean Couturier would get signed by another team if that contract just like disappeared tomorrow, but he would probably get something like 3 years, $9 million.
Yeah,
he's not giving up 55 or however much $1 million left on this contract.
No,
like
even
it's not
hockey
going to
players
happen.
aren't that stupid.
If you had to guess, where's the Coots thing going?
Nowhere.
A year from now, how are we discussing Sean Couturier?
I just don't think they can trade him. Like
it doesn't seem possible.
Like you can theorize about this on Twitter all you want, and you can make shit up and infer what you want to infer. That's fine. Like fans can do what they want. I don't know how you get around the fact that the guy has a $7.75 million cap hit with 6 more years left. He's in his 30s. He's had 2 back surgeries. He was an offensive zero in the second half. Even if Sean Couturier is demanding a trade, and I do not have any reason to believe he is doing that right now, I don't know how the Flyers trade him. Like, I just don't know how it's feasible. I don't know who would want him unless, again, the Flyers were to retain 50% for 6 years, and that wouldn't be good for the Flyers either.
And just in terms of like a potential, I just wanted to see the breakdown, so I went to Cap Friendly. Wanted to see the breakdown of how the money's distributed. There's a real small market. Like, there was already not a market for Sean Couturier. His salary the year we're coming out of and the next 2, $9 million. That's the money he gets, like, not just against the cap. That's what you have to pay him. There's only so many teams willing to give anyone $9 million, let alone dude might not be that good anymore, you know? Yeah. Like, it's a big financial commitment, not just from a cap point, but from a franchise standpoint. This is the height of the money he's going to make over the next 2 seasons, and that goes for the buyout as well, because that's comes down to your salary. There's a lot left on this deal, more than just like, oh, well, it's $775 a year. No, the total salary left is considerably more.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, the way I tend to look at it is, I'm not going to say, like, give up on the dream that Sean Couturier could be moved, because weird things happen in hockey. But to me, like, the hope, if you want to have hope for this situation getting better, the more realistic hope in my mind is hope that Sean Couturier, with the benefit of an offseason, plays like the guy from the first half all season next year and ages gracefully. Like, it just seems highly unlikely to me that the Flyers have an easy way out of this.
No,
there's a lot of things that, like, probably slim chance, like Sean Couturier being what he was in the first half of this last season might be your best, like, that's your best option.
Yeah,
like,
to me, it feels like it is.
The other things are so much less likely. Like, they're just so much harder to pull off. Now, granted, it's not Chuck Fletcher anymore. You know, trades are hard. Maybe Danny Briere.
So hard.
Maybe Danny Briere is the most creative motherfucker since, like, Jackson Pollock or whatever. And I couldn't think of an artist.
It's okay, you did good.
And maybe he can pull something off here. But if we're hoping for anything, I think it should just be that, like, Coots figures this shit out. Like, figures out how to work, figures out how to manage his own workload, and gets his body in the shape it needs to be in to play, let's call it 75 games a year for the remainder of this contract at a relatively high level. Like, that's the best possible outcome.
Yes.
In terms of what's feasible.
Right, because
if you can get out of it, cool. I just don't see a way.
No, he's going to be here. So we just need him to be good.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's the Flyers. Craziness happens all the time. So
He's getting traded to
He could
Scott.
stand to get a little
I
faster.
truly cannot rule anything out of hand because it's the Flyers. However, it doesn't strike me as likely that Sean Couturier, because of this, is going to be traded in the next couple months.
Is he what the Toronto Maple Leafs need to get to the next level?
He might be what Ska needs. And maybe that's the
no.
deal.
Oh, that's the plan. We're going to bring it all together.
We're
Yeah, we're
sending
gonna
him
trade
Couturier to Russia.
Yeah, the KHL, a little
That
bit slower
feels
of a league, the wider
mean.
ice, his deliberate style might play there a little better than it does under John Tortorella. You get to make unlimited amount of money. You get paid in gold or something. Maybe this is the... No? Okay, we'll move on.
I mean, you can keep going.
I have nothing. It's I have no idea. It's just such an interesting move to fire your agent right now at this point.
It is very
You just
interesting.
finished the first year of a contract that never ends.
No, it's exceptionally interesting, and that's why I'm not
second year.
I'm not ruling out the possibility that this is stemming from general frustration with his situation with the Flyers. I'm not ruling that out. I just tend to think that even if that is what is driving this, it's going to take a wizard to figure out a way for the Flyers to get Sean Couturier on another team.
I guess that's what, when you look at who he hired, it's well, if anyone can make this shit work, it might be this
Brisson,
dude.
yeah.
It's
fair.
I guess that's...
Yeah, it's fair.
We'll see how this plays out. Again, it's the Flyers. Anything could happen.
I just think another way to look at it too is what does Pat Brisson get out of taking him on as a client? Because as we talked about, he doesn't have any likelihood of negotiating a new
he's not gonna
contract
make
with
any
Couturier.
money.
So he's not going to make big money. So why would he do it? To me, it would have to be because Brisson thinks that his prestige will be higher by representing Couturier, which tells me that he thinks that maybe this is a fraught situation and Brisson can come in and maybe find a way to, one way or another, figure out a way to make this Coots, Flyers, Torts thing work, and then he can use that as a selling point to other clients who are looking for new representation because they are maybe in similarly fraught situations with their teams and say, hey, look at where Sean Couturier was in the summer of 2024. Look at where he is now. He's a hell of a lot happier. I can do that for you. That might be the selling point to Brisson as to why he's taking on Couturier, despite the fact that no new contract is looming.
Yeah. All of the speculation. Speculating is fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the off season, man.
Yeah.
No, and
I like making up
and
stories.
I just thought when you said it might just raise his profile to have Sean Couturier, maybe, and I'm not looking at a list of his clients, maybe he has 12 team captains already.
He's got Claude
and he's
Giroux.
hey, we have all the team captains, maybe that's just a thing that's good for his agency. I don't know. There's just a lot of, I can't wait to find out more.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to the next chapter of Flyers
This could
hockey.
be a fun summer, honestly.
It really, it's only April still.
be, yeah.
And we've already got some fun shit going on. Just looking at Twitter right now, people are reacting to the Bichkov stuff. People are excited, and that's fun after the end of the season we just had, where it was even when I came in with no expectations, they somehow disappointed me in some way. And now we're kind of building back up already again. I find that nice.
I have no idea whether Matvei Michkov is going to come over early, but I love the fact that fans are excited about the gleam of hope that it could happen. I think it's great.
It's nice.
Love to see Flyers fans happy and not mad.
It's a rare opportunity. You got to take them when you can get them.
We all silly like the mayor.